Hey, good evening, everyone, and welcome into FC Cincinnati Weekly alongside Kevin McCluskey. I am your host, Caleb No. Kevin, welcome back to the show. FC Cincinnati with a little rest here, huh?
Yeah, no, it's. I think it's a good thing. Obviously, ambitious team. I think a team that's playing for a lot of trophies. I think this additional rest, I think, is good for the players, but for the staff as well. Obviously, it's been consistent performances after performances, especially at TQL Stadium. Obviously, this last result didn't go in favour, but certainly a chance to reset and kind of focus on kind of what the plan, what the goals are, the big long-term goals at the end of the season.
Sure. I mean, you look at the number of matches they've played between the U.S. Open Cup, Leagues Cup, of course, MLS play, the different lineups they've had to see throughout the course of this season, and the consistency that they've played. And we'll talk a little more a little later on in the show about this rest and what it means for the team. But first, we do want to go to that Nashville game, the third meeting between the two teams this year. And you know how hard it is to beat a team 3 times in a season. I mean, we're talking any sport, any level of any sport, there's just that familiarity, the animosity, the downright dislike of a team when you see each other that much, right? I mean,
and it's a tough team to play against, right? The style of play even fits in with a Gary Smith-esque team. You know, he sets his team up usually defensively to sit back and then tries to hit you on the counter attack. So it's a team that provides frustration. I think that's exactly what happened in this game against Nashville. This is an opportunity here, great save by Ali Khan, and good defensive stop then by Ian Murphy. But for FC Cincinnati, it was a game that they had to kind of grow into, Caleb, as they talk about facing an opponent that will sit back. They'll try to compact the space. And it took FC Cincinnati some time to open up that space.
Yeah, and Alec Khan, a guy that they've stuck with in these Leagues Cup matches. He's played well in these matches.
Yeah, and this is where we talk about then. This is an opportunity, depends on what a strike. Right? We've seen this now anytime that he's featured at TQL Stadium. Each time he steps on the field, you just see a little bit more as far as the glimpse and what he can do kind of in the attack.
And the confidence there, right?
Oh, the confidence and the ability to strike from distance. He's about, 2 foot, I think, left of that post.
Yeah.
But this is the goal again. You know, it's a scrappy goal, but it's a team that's kind of ingrained within their identity off of set pieces. Godoy's the guy that gets his foot on this after, again, a good save from Ali Khan, just falls to Godoy, who's there, and FC Cincinnati can see go down 1-0.
Scrappy is the right word, and Nashville's not the type of team that's going to beat a lot of teams like 5-1 or something. I mean, they're the type of team that's going to win those hard-fought 1-0 matches. Or,
definitely. It's a Midwest team that they're going to kind of grind out the results. I think based on, I talked about the style of play, but even the recruitment that Gary Smith and that technical staff go after when you look at a player. Here's obviously the penalty kick for FC Cincinnati.
Huge moment late in the game here.
Massive. Obviously, this is a quite obvious push to Brandon Vasquez just in front of the goalkeeper. And then it's Brandon Vasquez that takes it to him.
Yeah.
Obviously, Acosta is typically the penalty taker, but there's times that they rotate. I think late in this game, Acosta talked about just his legs maybe being a little bit heavy. And so, again, great leadership to pass it off to Brandon. Brandon converts the penalty kick. And at that time, obviously, game is back on.
Okay, so the way they do it in the Leagues Cup is if you are tied after 90, if it's even after 90, you go straight to PKs. A big moment, a big decision here by Nashville to switch keepers.
Yeah,
heading into the PK shootout.
I think for Nashville and for Gary Smith too, they're bringing a guy on that's more of a shot stopper, right? So again, penalties happen a lot in practice. This is repeated time and time again. Matt Miazek comes up. It's a decently struck penalty.
Sure.
Doesn't hit it quite into the corner, but the keeper again was brought in. That sub was made just in
specific
regulation.
Reason they brought him in.
Exactly.
And it's not that he stopped a ton of shots, but he stopped the one that he needed to because there was Nashville's 5th shot. They put all theirs in the net, and that was the difference.
And that's it. It's consistency, right? I think once you get into that position, you want your goalkeeper to make the difference in one save. Not happened. And obviously, Nashville then converted their penalty kicks, and game over, unfortunately.
Right. So after the game, head coach Pat Noonan not overly disappointed in the effort his team gave in the game. Just, missed some quality in the crucial moments, as we mentioned. Here's part of what Pat said.
Like I said, the feeling is different because, we haven't lost a game yet in this building. And so it's our third in all competitions, and the group has got accustomed to winning, which is a good thing. So now defeat feels different, and, it probably bothers you a little bit more, which is a good thing. So now we'll just, like we do after every game, we just assess how we played and why we came up a little short. And I think that was just the ability to finish off a couple plays, but I'm not disappointed in how they played.
Okay, so there's a couple levels to this here. First of all, I always find Pat's calm demeanor interesting, even after a loss. Look, there have been times where he's been upset and angry after losses, but I think he sees this the same way that I do. It's a silver lining. I think there's another fold to it, too, is that, like, you saw the disappointment on Lucho's face as he's sitting there on the ground. Like, this is a team that hasn't lost in this stadium yet this season. Do you think there was a part of Pat Noonan that was trying to, I guess, remind his players it's okay?
Yeah, I think, listen, that interview to me screams ultimate confidence, right? Because he's been there, he's had the experience in this league before, he's been successful as a player and as a coach, so he's won championships, and he understands too, look, this is a book, it's not just one chapter, right? And as you go through, this loss actually probably sets them up for future success because they've at least had the experience of losing at home. It's very, very difficult, any sports team to go, especially professional sports, to go through the entire season undefeated, right? That is very unheard of. So I think for Pat, honestly, I think the silver lining, as you kind of referenced to, I think it's more rest. Okay, let's be smart about this. Let's calculate what's ahead of us. Very ambitious. A lot of trophies still kind of in the balance here. You know, do you have to go through with the Leagues Cup, get to the final, the semi-final, put your players on the further duress, and then expect more from them? So for me, I think it's a head coach that has experience. I don't think he's naive at all. I think he understands it. The players are always going to want to win, right? That's their job to kind of step up there. And so for Lucho, it's a natural reaction for disappointment. I think for Pat and for his staff, though, is to get those players back with that vital rest, which I think long-term is a great, great thing.
Yeah, FC Cincinnati's players collectively don't seem like a group that is begging for rest, but I think Pat Noonan sees the value in that. So last Sunday, it seemed like Lionel Messi and Inter Miami might not be unbeatable after all. They were down 2 goals twice, 2 different times in the second half against FC Dallas in the Leagues Cup. But then the Great One reminded us of why there was so much excitement when he came to the U.S. to play in Major League Soccer. Early on, it looked like it might be another, Miami win, with Messi taking his pass from Jordi Alba in the 6th minute, placing it just inside the post for an early 1-0 lead for Inter Miami. It's unbelievable to see what Messi has been able to do, and just every time he steps on the field, Kevin, he's so dangerous.
Oh, he's so dangerous, and again, even a guy like Alba too, to see that connection again. Obviously, those guys played together at Barcelona. It's a great thing for this team. It's a great thing for the league. But this individual is the GOAT, right? He's the best player. He obviously makes things happen. And
that's not even like the type of opportunity where you're like, he better make this shot because it's not like he was wide open. I mean,
that happens so many times.
The window was so small.
Exactly. He'll get scraps, or he'll get not much as far as space. He'll make something from it.
All right, so FC Dallas had other ideas. They took a 3-1 lead in the second half, then a 4-2 lead after an own goal by Miami. But look at this. It's another point where Messi's impact on the game is just felt in so many ways.
Again, look, he doesn't always have to be the guy that's scoring goals. He's the guy that's providing goals, but he dictates so much of the attack for his team. The opponent a lot of times chase his shadows, right? They're trying to figure out how to stop him. And when you think you've got to figure out how to stop him, you're wrong, because now he can step up with a set piece, a free kick like that.
How do you explain that, man? And it's the second time he's done something like that in the last 2 weeks.
It's not easy to do, right? That's the hardest thing that people understand. For him to be able to do that, to hit that perfectly into that corner of the goal is, it's very, very skillful. So it's impressive.
No, and again, you look at, and I mentioned they won 5-3 in penalties on that game, but like to just go out on a soccer field, put the ball literally anywhere on the field, not have to worry about the trajectory. It can go high, it can be a direct shot. Just to put it in the corner of the goal in that window is hard.
Oh, it's hard, and he's the best at it.
But to do it under those circumstances from that spot over the wall, right in the corner where, again, the window of putting it in the goal is barely as big of as a soccer ball.
Yeah, I think, again, he's just such a talented player. I think the skill is one thing, but then the pressure, right, or when it's so meaningful. His team's down to come up, those pressured moments. Those are the moments like those top players, they thrive on. But he's not just the top player, he's the best, right? So he's even a step ahead of some of his colleagues that, again, will score from time to time with those set pieces and when they get the opportunities to score. So, no, he's special. I can't wait to see him come here, obviously, to Cincinnati, hopefully here pretty soon, in the next couple of weeks.
That's right. Well, with that win, Miami earned their way into the quarterfinals of the Leagues Cup. That'll be played later on tonight LAFC seemed to benefit, right, with skipping the group stage of the Leagues Cup, winning their 2 matches so far by a combined score of 11-1. I mean, LAFC seems like that type of team that could be there on the other side of things in MLS on the western side. If FC Cincinnati is fortunate enough to make it through things, in terms of the MLS playoffs. I'm getting way ahead of myself.
Yeah, no.
But LAFC is that type of team.
For sure.
5 of the 8 games that determined the quarterfinals went to PK shootouts. It's part of the format of the Leagues Cup. Kevin, how do you feel about that? The idea of going straight to PKs, no extra time.
For this competition, when it's wedged between kind of domestic leagues and other open cups and things like that, I actually think it's a good thing. I think it's a smart thing. I think as far as the rest piece, if you think about it, you're going to play 90 minutes plus, what's it going to take, 5 minutes for a penalty shootout? So the players can kind of recover with that. I think if it was kind of typical, and you kind of sandwich that into the domestic league, then players are going to be very fatigued this last stretch of the season. So I think it's good. I think it's entertaining. I think it's exciting. And it's something different, right? It's kind of new. So I think for the fan, and even the players, I think they're probably welcomed it so far. And I think they like it.
Yeah, you get the result without the long-term strain.
Exactly.
Kevin, thank you so much, man. You can always listen to Kevin and Tommy on the radio, ESPN 1530 or iHeartRadio during the games. Coming up a little later on in the show, the club went to the zoo. Players and kids and animals all out to have a good time and check out the great Cincinnati Zoo. We will show you why later on in the show. Welcome back, everyone, to FC Cincinnati Weekly. Being on the field for 90-plus minutes in a heated competition takes a lot out of a player. There's a lot of fitness training and science that goes into preparing for a professional soccer match, not the least of which is what a player eats. Here is Training to Win, presented by Mercy Health.
My name's Cody Kramer. I'm the executive chef for FC Cincinnati. Typical work week. So it's really, I'm here and my team's on when the team is training. So, we serve breakfast and lunch daily, and we really try to fit everything into their program, based off their training schedule.
There's a flank steak, what is called onion, beef, and peppers. So you gotta thinly slice it, and then you have ginger and garlic, sesame.
Rob was already hired prior to me actually coming on as our lead cook, and he's now our sous chef. Then Carson came with me from VVT, so when this opportunity came, obviously I wanted to bring someone that I've worked with, understands how I work. So if the team's at home, usually we're off on game days as the cafeteria goes. If they're traveling, obviously I travel with the team to assist them on the road and help facilitate things at the hotel. When they're at home, they have a 4-day build like they do for away. But the difference is when they're at home, they have a recovery day after the game. So it kind of adds an extra day in our week. Recovery days, the biggest thing for us is really making sure, I don't want to call it unhealthy, but they've exerted so much energy on the pitch that we kind of let them have a cheat meal, mac and cheese, maybe a burger, things like that to kind of get them back up and going. On top of that, we make sure to do recovery shakes, so we make sure they have their recovery shakes right after they're done with their training to kind of help them, same thing, right, get sugar back in them and rehydrated and things like that.
Well, earlier this year when FC Cincinnati 2 player Ryder Mills was selected as MLS Next Under-19 Most Valuable Player, it was an indication that, hey, the FC Cincinnati Academy was working, was having success. Let's get the latest and catch up with FC Cincinnati 2.
The thing I saw from our group is that the resilience, all the adversity that's going on, all of the stuff that we face, we still find a way to persevere and come out on top. And that's what we've been about all year. We've been challenged in all different areas, on the field, off the field, but we seem to find a way, to come through. So that's what I'm taking away from the group so far. We just need to continue growing and keep getting better, and I think the guys are starting to believe in what we're doing. If we can get a group together to mesh towards the final stretch of games, I think it's going to be, a good opportunity for us to potentially, push towards even get into the playoffs. I think it gives the guys, especially the guys who are in first-team contention, opportunity to continue playing. So that's a motivation factor. Can we get a big push now towards the final stretch and see if we can continue to make it into playoffs? And if we do, that gives us an opportunity to continue training, continue playing meaningful game, and that helps the guys who are in the first group also come down and get some quality minutes, which we want for them. I think it's it's a great achievement for our group. That we have guys who've been signed from our group. Brett Halsey, Dado Valenzuela, has been a part since last year now. Got the opportunity to get a homegrown contract. Ben Seitz, who got up there and given quality minutes in a game. So I'm really excited for the boys. It just gives us a sense of belief now that the thing that we're preaching in the locker room, in the video session, on the training pitch, that it was going to come out to fruition.
Goalkeeper Alec can stop flying shots, but can he stop something flying with wings? Coming up after the break, we will show you how FC Cincinnati was helping reward some good grades. It is back to school time. Hey, welcome back, everyone, to FC Cincinnati Weekly. When the players for FC Cincinnati take the pitch at TQL Stadium on match day, they see a lot of young fans in the stands cheering them on. Well, recently, the club got a chance to give back to those fans, specifically the younger ones who study hard and get good grades.
Well, everybody, congratulations. Don't be shy, come get your medal.
How you doing? Congratulations. Congrats. Okay.
You like math, science, reading, writing, math? Okay, nice.
Keep up the good work. We'll see you here next year, okay?
So we're here tonight at the Cincinnati Zoo celebrating all the kids that have achieved the A honor roll 2 or more times during the school year. So this evening is presented by CTI and the Cincinnati Zoo. So all the kids are coming tonight with their families to receive medals of achievement and enjoy everything that the zoo has to offer.
I'm gonna run backstage and try to find her. You guys enjoy all the birds. I'll see you later. Bye, everybody.
You can see, there we go. Pretty quick this time. And then you're gonna get an up close look at him. You can check out those talons he has and his eyelids, which are pretty cool. On a milky eagle owl, they're the only owl in the world that has no feathers on their eyes.
I think it's a cool event for the community. Cincinnati kids coming here because they've done well in school, and it's good for us Cincinnati players to come out here and connect with the kids in the community.
It is really big. Don't touch her, okay?
This is Finn. He's Tessa's baby, and he turns 4.
Also, it's running through his shell. His backbone is right there on his
It's great to be out here at the Cincinnati Zoo. A lot of kids cheer us on at the weekends, so it's great to give back and help, cheer these kids on with their academic achievements and continue to support them off the field.
FC Cincinnati fans, come check out the new FC Cincinnati team store in OTR, conveniently located on Vine Street, right in the heart of OTR, next door to lots of well-loved restaurants and shops, just minutes from Washington Park. The new OTR store is located at 1433 Vine Street, and it'll now serve as the team's primary team store on non-match days. Parking is easily accessible with a lot directly across the street. Come check out the newest FC Cincinnati merchandise in our new home in OTR. For hours and more details, go to fccincinnati.com. There is a new twist to the Hell is Real Derby. FC Cincinnati and the Columbus Crew are holding the first Hell is Real blood drive competition. The drive runs through Friday, August 25th, and there's a trophy that goes to the club whose supporters can donate more blood to help those in need. All FC Cincinnati fans and blood donors interested in participating can visit any of Hawksworth's 7 neighborhood donor centers from now through August 25th. All donors will receive a complimentary Hell is Real blood drive t-shirt in FC Cincinnati colors, mind you. The winning team of the blood drive competition will receive a trophy co-designed by supporters groups from both sides. Hell is Real is the next game for FC Cincinnati. That is Sunday, August 20th in Columbus. FC Cincinnati fans can help the club sweep the season series with the Crew, including bringing home that blood drive trophy. Donate blood, help those in need, and get your t-shirt today. Well, that's our show for this week. Thank you so much for watching. Join us here every Friday night at 7:30 for FC Cincinnati Weekly, the most comprehensive coverage of the orange and blue you'll find anywhere out there. Next week is Hell is Real week in Cincinnati, so show your orange and blue pride and help bring home a winner. For Kevin McCluskey and the rest of our FC Cincinnati Weekly crew, have a great night and go FC Cincinnati.